Hi everyone! So Aroid Asia has graciously sent me a box of plants that we are going to be unboxing today. This is also the first time I will be doing an unboxing video in my office. So fingers crossed I don't make a complete and total mess, but it's a relatively small box, so I feel like I don't need as much space as I normally do. So hopefully this will go okay. But I will say this is the fastest delivery I've gotten from them in a long time. Let me check my calendar for the number of days that these plants have been in this box. So they've been in this box for 10 days, and honestly, that is not that bad, especially compared to some of the orders a little over a year ago that I was getting from them before they started using their new process. So they are now working with a distributor here in the US called PlantStop USA. They are shipping multiple people's orders to PlantStop USA, and PlantStop USA then repackages them and sends them out to each individual buyer. Now, what this does is it helps prevent issues with customs and plants getting delayed in customs that they were having when they were just sending directly to the end user, you and me. So far, this is the second order that they have sent me using PlantStop USA. The first one took longer than this. I think it took almost 14 days because they were at a trade show. Timing was just off on that one. They almost had that issue this time, but they checked with them, knew they were going to be at a show, and so they delayed shipping this out, which I greatly appreciate. Now, this did arrive last night, of course, at like 8 p.m. So I couldn't unbox it last night. So we're doing it first thing this morning. I would have preferred to have unboxed it yesterday. If it had just been like an order for me, I would have unboxed it yesterday, but since I needed to film it, obviously I had to wait until today. So let me go ahead and start getting cut into this. Now, I do know that there is a wishlist plant in here, you guys, because they told me that they were going to be sending me a wishlist plant, but then apparently they ran out of them, and so they were apologizing, saying they weren't going to send it, and then he did tell me they had one, but he just felt like it wasn't big enough. I was like, I don't care. So they put it in here, so that's going to be exciting. I honestly don't know how many plants are in here. I didn't get a packing list or anything with the tracking, so it's going to be a surprise for both you and me, but let's see what we've got going on. We've got something crawling around. That is a springtail. There is a springtail crawling around in there. That's fine as long as it isn't some kind of bad pest. Oh, look, they've got new paper. They've got customized paper now with their logo on it. That's new. Okay, this is a Hoya. I'm not going to tell you which one yet, what kind. Let's see. Also a Hoya. Also a Hoya. Also a Hoya. Well, I guess maybe they watched that video I did where I was saying, man, this makes me want to go and get more Hoyas. Was that my 4 years of growing Hoya video that I said that in? I think it was. So we got more Hoya, another Hoya. Not a Hoya. Okay, we've got a bunch of Hoyas and apparently not a Hoya. All right, let me make sure there's nothing else hiding down in here. Okay. I just looked at what the Anthurium is. I think we're going to save that one for last. That's kind of exciting. So I'm just going to grab the smallest. Let's do the smallest Hoya. The nice thing about this is because these are small little baby plants, it seems like that they sent me, this really helps the fact that I have to unbox here in my office, although these are in moss. I think I need to lay out some of the paper from in there out on my desk just to collect the moss on, so I'm not making a complete total mess of my office that was just cleaned on Friday. Always making a mess right after I clean, you guys. Like, I mean, why do I even bother cleaning? That's how I feel sometimes, honestly. Okay. And I'm still reusing the moss that I re-sterilized from the last order of plants that they sent me. Now I'm going to have even more moss to use. Okay, so this plant, I am not even sure what kind of, I'm reading what kind of Hoya it is, so I know what kind of Hoya it is just based on what it says right here on the label, but I, in my brain, cannot pull up what this one looks like. It's not one I'm super familiar with. Where'd my scissors end up at? Here we are. So yeah, like I said, we're going to kind of find out together. Now, I did mention in my last unboxing video that they have started using plastic containers. Camera, work with me. plastic containers, and they did over a year ago now switch to using moss around the roots as opposed to wet paper towels, which is what they were using before. I do think this is the better route for them to go, and I like that they're putting aeration on the containers as well, so the moss isn't just soaking wet in there in case the plant has to be in here longer, in the box longer than we would like. This moss does look pretty dry though. Hopefully we are not going to be looking at dried out roots as well, although I do find that Hoyas recover pretty well from getting shipped. Oh, I'm going to like this Hoya. You guys, you know how we did my pot of Hoya in my restyling video back in, I think, January or February? I think we are probably, after this shipment, going to need to do another pot of Hoya. And I don't know where the heck I'm going to put it, but I think that's what we're going to have to do. So we'll see. Maybe if we have time in this video, I'll find a pot and we can group a bunch of these together. Well, no, we can't because we got to put them in water to rehab first. So we'll have to do that in a separate video. But oh, this is a cutie. Okay, this is a Hoya Boisei. That's my best guess. I will put it up on screen for you, of course, but it is definitely a small leafed Hoya. You guys know I love my smaller leafed Hoyas. Honestly, like I said, I've never really, I kind of recognize the name, but it didn't bring up any kind of major, oh, I know what that looks like in my brain when I read it, but it should have, because this is a cutie Hoya right here. Okay, let me get the saran wrap off of this. Look at this cutie. Look at those tiny little round green leaves. They're so small. And they're fuzzy, they're soft. Oh, somebody over at Aroid Asia, I think, has been watching my videos. Oh, this reminds me of the NAP. Oh crap, what is the number on it? You guys know, up until the end of last year, I did not have any Hoyas that were letter number combinations. They all had names like this one does. NAP, is it 016? I'll flash it up on screen for you, but this feels like that. It's a fuzzy, it's not fuzzy, it doesn't look fuzzy, right? There's no indication that it's a hairy leaf or anything, but when you touch it, you can just feel these soft, fine hairs on it. Oh my gosh. Somebody's paying attention in Aroid Asia and making me a very, very happy. Okay, so they do have also a lid around the top of this, which is good because this also helps with keeping the moss moist, but also we have the holes because we don't want it too moist, and they did score it, so it's not like I'm going to potentially rip leaves off taking it off. Just need to be super careful, and I don't have to personally cut it, which is great. This is making things way easier to unpackage. Okay, so the moss looked kind of dry when I was just looking through the container, but it still feels relatively damp. So I think, and since this is a Hoya and Hoyas don't really mind drying all the way out in between waterings, I think we should be good. But let's see how the roots are looking on this little baby Hoya. Oh, it's 2 plants. It just broke off into 2 plants. Oh, it's 3 plants. Okay, well that's nice that it's 3 separate plants. Okay, so we got some very, very fine roots on these. These are just little baby Hoyas. Oh, the only thing I hate about fine roots on plants and moss is where does the moss end and the root begin? So it's kind of hard to tell. But these roots look healthy. See on these other ones, but it's just, they don't have a ton of roots. They're just little babies, right? No big deal, not a ton of roots, but they definitely look healthy. I'm just having a hard time differentiating moss from root right now. But there we go. This one's, the moss is coming off more easily. I didn't get any tiny containers of water, you guys, because normally I need mid-size to large with things that come from them. We do have some yellow leaves that fell off and everything, so I'm gonna have to go grab real quick a smaller container for these, because it's just gonna, the containers I got, they're just gonna fall straight in all the way down to the bottom and be completely submerged in water, which is not what we want. There's a big old chunk of moss on this one that I want to try to get off of here without pulling off any roots, if I can. Actually, it might be easier once it's rehydrated because it's a little bit dry. So let me go grab that smaller container of water. Okay, little thing of water here. I'm going to put them in here to rehydrate. Now, if you are new to importing plants, I will let you know that oh man, this one's even going to be, okay, that kind of works. I'm trying to make sure they don't fall all the way in. Oh no, it's still trying to fall. I might have to find like a shot glass. But for now, I think I can get them balanced in here okay. And then after this, if I need to transfer them to like a little shot glass, which I might need to, at least for that one, I will. But as I was saying, if you are new to importing plants, I do have a separate video all about how to acclimate imported plants. I actually used one of the first orders, not the very first order, but one of the first orders I think that I started shipping in for my rare plant pop-up shops that I do in the area from Aroid Asia. I used one of those orders in that video to kind of show you from the time that you receive them what to do. Oh my gosh, this one just wants to fall in there. It's just gonna have to be in there until after the video. From the time you get them, what to do to acclimate them all the way up until like a 1 month, or I think maybe I did 2 months after they arrived, how the plants were doing and everything. So I will link that down below in the description for you if you need it, but I'm gonna be doing the same thing with all of these plants. And the first step is always you wanna get those roots rehydrated in water for minimum 24 hours because they are usually highly thirsty by the time they get here. Okay, let's see, get this moss out of the bottom of this. I will say, so as far as Hoyas go from Aroid Asia, I think I've only ever received 2 from them before. One was it's commonly known as the dinner plate Hoya. Is it I'm not even gonna guess, I don't know. My brain is like not fully awake yet, you guys, but like I said, I didn't want these sitting here in a box forever, so I'm filming earlier than usual, and I did not have my coffee yet, so bear with me, but I'll put the name of it up on screen. But it's a very large-leafed Hoya. It was a beautiful Hoya, don't get me wrong, but I am just not really into large-leaf Hoyas. I kept it for a long time trying to get into it, if you will, and I just could never really get into it. So I sold it to someone else who really, really wanted it. And then in the last order of plants that they sent me, they included a Hoya Matilde, which has been on my wish list for a while. And so super excited about that one. That one is pushing out a new vine right now for the first time. It's grown like more leaves on the vines that were already on it when I got it from Aroid Asia. I'm gonna start opening our next one. But it now is putting out its first brand new, completely new vine since I got it, and I'm just so happy to have that plant. Now I will say both of those plants did fabulously shipping from them. The roots looked great. They rehydrated quickly. When I potted them up, I didn't have any issues. There was no rot that I can recall, I don't think anyways, on either of those Hoyas. So Hoyas from Aroid Asia definitely have shipped well for me. But once again, Hoyas in general, I mean, they're epiphytic and they're so used to drying out. Some Hoyas grow in like crevices just in rocks, right? So plants like that tend to lend themselves to shipping, well, I guess I should say, from overseas and being in a box a long time, as long as they're being appropriately packaged like they are here. Oh my goodness. This is another one I'm gonna like. I didn't even read it while I was like cutting into it because I was talking to you guys. So this is a Hoya Cumingiana albomarginata, I believe is how Cumingiana, I think that's how it's pronounced. You know, I got it up on screen for you. So albomarginata means this is going to be an outer variegated Hoya. I don't know. I will have to look up and see if this is a Hoya where these leaves might get significantly bigger because obviously this is just a baby, right? I don't know if this is one where they're going to get significantly bigger or not, but if they're going to stay this size, I'm game. I'm game. This is my kind of Hoya, right? And you can see down here we have some higher variegation on some of those lower ones. And then up here it's just a little bit on the edges of the leaves. That's what albomarginata means, is on the margin of the leaves. So that's outer variegated anytime you see albomarginata. So who knows? I don't know what kind of lighting they've had it in. So if I have it in higher lighting, I might see more of that variegation start to pop off closer to what we saw at the bottom. But definitely, once again, my kind of Hoya. I'm telling you, this might be the most spot on order of plants, which, by the way, you guys, by order, I don't mean I ordered this. They offered to send me some plants to share with you, their shipping process, their new shipping process, their new packaging process and everything, and show you how it's going. because there were some problems. Like I've said, I've unboxed some plants orders from them that were actually paid orders that I had ordered that did not go well. So they've been trying to get back in my good graces ever since they started using Plant Stop USA as a broker. And I will say it's definitely improved. It's definitely improved, you guys. It's making me feel more comfortable about ordering plants for my rare plant inventory from them again, for sure, because this is now the second order that's come that way. And so far it's looking pretty good. So definitely feeling good about their new process. Let's get this lid off of this one. Okay, moss feels still just slightly damp. It's a good level of damp. It's not too dry, not too damp. That's exactly what we want. Let's see how much root structure we have on this one. Okay, not a ton of roots. The moss came off of that fabulously. What's up at the top here? Oh, okay, we'll explain that in a second. But the roots look great. Once again, I feel like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to go get more. I just need to go get some shot glasses. I'm gonna get a bunch of shot glasses of water here in a second. There is a little bit of that. When you hear me talk about foam plugs, come on, camera. My face is not in the picture, camera. Let's do this. There we go. This is that foamy material that sometimes you see plants are grown in as babies. And it looks like they did try to remove it and just a little bit was left up at the top. So I'm just gonna pull that off real quick. Okay, I think I got that off. Let me go get a bunch of shot glasses of water. Like how many more plants do we? 1, 2, 3, 4. The Anthurium looks a little bit bigger, so I can probably use one of those other ones. So I need 4 shot glasses. 1 second. Okay, we've got a nice small thing of water, so I don't have to worry about this falling all the way down in there. Alrighty. And hopefully I'm not gonna spill any water all over my desk. Let me get the rest of this out of here. Okay, pop those down there. All right, this is somehow still gonna end up being a total mess. Let me rotate it around so I have a clean area to work with. Okay. Oh. Well, that's interesting because this is a plant I already own, but let's go ahead and get this one opened. And I will just go ahead and let you know, this is a Hoya curtisii. I do own a curtisii. Maybe whoever watched some of my videos didn't realize that. I don't know, but that's okay. Oh, Jesus. This plant is not looking good at all. That is unfortunate. Oof. But I guess if it was gonna happen to one of the plants, good thing it's one that I already own. Hold on, you guys, let me take a picture of this for them. Always take pictures if something's wrong. Okay, this was not expected. I mean, this one looks really bad. Like, that's odd. I don't even know, you guys. I'm interested to see what's going on with the roots because this is packaged exactly the same. If the plant looked as healthy as the other ones did when they packaged it, it's really odd for one plant that's the same genus as all the other ones and basically the same size to go bad like that. That's so bizarre. But my best guess is it has to be something with the roots for that whole, like all of it to look that bad. I'm just so shocked right now. Was not expecting that. This moss doesn't feel like any more damp than the other moss. So I don't know. The roots aren't bad. Oh no, they are bad. Oh yeah. They're rotted. They're just like the outer part of the root is completely coming off. I don't know how well y'all can see that. And it's just that fine thread inside. I don't even know if this is salvageable, honestly, you guys. Let me just get some more of this moss off because the thing is, you can see the vines are yellow too. So I don't know if we have healthy vine to be able to grow new roots. That is unfortunate. So bizarre. I would love to know what this plant looked like when it was packaged up, because this is going to be a mystery of what caused this that's just going to plague me now, because I'm really going to want to know. And I will never know. But that's okay. Some of these vines are snapped a bit too. Okay, I'm just gonna set this aside for now. I'm not gonna put it in water. We're gonna cut that up later and figure out how we're going to attempt to salvage that. Poor little curtisii. Oh, so sad and so weird. Okay, moving on. I don't know that I've ever even heard of this Hoya before. So exciting because I don't know what these look like. So this is like seriously the first plant unboxing where I don't really know what anything looks like other than the curtisii, although that was a surprise too because it didn't look good, right? It didn't look like what we were expecting it to look like. And then I sort of have an idea of what the Anthurium might look like. It's a cross of two Anthuriums, and I know what those two Anthuriums look like. But it'll still be kind of a surprise because I've never seen that cross in person before. Oh yeah, I'm gonna love this Hoya too. And this one looks fine and healthy. I don't know what the heck the deal was with that curtisii, you guys. That's so weird. Oh my gosh. This is super cute and tiny leaved, just like I like my Hoyas. This is a Hoya mamasa, which is also just a fun name to say. And this one's got some length to it. Look at that. Look at that cutie with its round kind of oblong shaped leaves. They are not soft and fuzzy, but that is okay. They're still my kind of look to a Hoya. Oh my gosh, so cute. It kind of reminds me a little bit of a Hoya Rebecca, except that it doesn't have the pronounced venation on the leaves. Like the leaves, I swear you guys, I don't know why my camera is taking so long to focus today. It doesn't have, you can see there's not like, it just looks like a smooth leaf. You don't see pronounced veins on it like you do on a Hoya Rebecca. And that's actually one of the only things I don't really like about the Hoya Rebecca. So this is kind of amazingly awesome for that reason, that it reminds me of a Hoya Rebecca, but doesn't have that one feature that I'm not particularly fond of. Still like the Hoya Rebecca. Not saying like I would never want to own it. You know, I own one. But this is definitely more my preference if I had to pick between the two. Okay, we do have a few dead leaves, but no big deal because we have a ton of perfectly happy and healthy leaves. Still just baffled by that curtisii, you guys. So weird. And they're not going to be happy about it. And they know me. They know I won't cut it from the video because I just don't do that. I'm sure they would love it if I did cut it from the video, but I'm not preparing you for realistic things if I cut stuff like that from the video. And as I have always stated with import orders, things happen, right? And that's just a weird thing that I don't even know if Aroid Asia can explain why that happened. That's so bizarre. It's so bizarre. Let's get the moss off of here and see what we're working with in terms of root structure. Man, I probably should have moved all the moss out of the way before I dumped that Hoya curtisii because now all those dead leaves are mixed in there, but that's okay. I'll get it all sorted out before I sterilize the moss for reuse. Because even though I don't buy sphagnum moss, you guys, if you're new here and you don't know, I don't like to use sphagnum moss because it's not a sustainable resource. And before anybody goes commenting, no, peat moss is what's not sustainable. Sphagnum moss grows on top of peat moss, you guys, in bogs. So in peat bogs, you have sphagnum moss, you have peat moss. If you're taking the sphagnum moss, you are interrupting the whole ecosystem for the peat bog. That is going to have an effect on the peat moss as well. So I don't buy sphagnum moss for that reason. I don't intentionally use it. But if I get a ton of it on an order of plants like this, I also don't want it to go to waste. So I will sterilize it and then use it primarily as moss collars for my Anthurium to help encourage new root growth on them. And also I have been using it for air layering, which that video will be coming to you guys in maybe about a month or so, because I've been doing that on my Splendid, which desperately needs a chop and extend. Okay, lots of roots here. They look pretty healthy. Some of them are pretty dry. Some of them are doing the similar thing that the curtisii was doing, where it kind of looks like it has a little bit of dry rot, but I'm not going to mess with them too much right now since they look fairly decent. I'm just going to, this root structure is a little bit too big for my shot glasses. I can't win today. But because we have so many vines, I think And this is technically like 3 or 4 plants as well, kind of like the first one we opened. I think I can get this in here without the plant tumbling all the way down in there. Yep, that works pretty well. And there is still a little bit of moss on there, but I didn't want to, because some of those roots looked a little dry, I didn't want to be tugging at it too much and breaking off roots. So I will just let that rehydrate first and then try to remove more of the moss off the roots tomorrow. Okay, one more Hoya to go. This is the Wishlist plant, I just realized. Super excited about this one. Like I said, they told me they were out of it, period. So I think that meant like every kind of it except for this one, which once again, he said, oh, I think his exact words were to me were, it only has 2 leaves. Like, I don't know why that would matter other than they didn't want me unboxing like a plant that looked like they just sent me like the babyest plant ever. I don't know. But I'm telling you guys why it's only got 2 leaves. Like, legit, I don't think he would have sold it to anybody. Oh, it's got more than 2 leaves. Maybe it grew some more leaves since we had that conversation. Hey guys, Hoya polyneura on my wish list, also known as, is it the mermaid's tail Hoya or the fishtail Hoya? One of the two, maybe both. Absolutely gorgeous plant. I've been wanting one ever since Wild Fern's been sharing photos of her giant one and how good it looks. I know they at one point had the albo marginata version of this plant where it's variegated on the edges. I think they also had the inner variegated version of it and the one that is, oh, I forget what it's called, but it's more silvery, something silver. I think they had that one at one point too. So it would have been exciting to have one of those as well. But like I said, the impression I got was this was the last polyneura of any kind that they still had. So super happy to have this. This is a larger leafed Hoya, but I really just like the shape of it and how they grow. I can't even remember the scientific term for this. By something. So one leaf exactly in line with the other on each side of the vine. All right, get this lid off of here. Let's see how these roots are looking. Some of this back down in the box. So far, I'm not making too much of a mess. So that's nice. We only have 1 plant left to go too. Okay. Ooh, this definitely has the foam still on it. Interesting. Here's what I'm talking about. So a little bit of that is what was left on that one Hoya. I think that was the first one we opened. I mean, it's just, I don't even know like why. This isn't even, I mean, this is like straight up foam. This isn't even the stuff that I was talking about that's more like a foamy substrate that kind of has this feeling to it. This is like just actual foam. I don't know why they do that sometimes. And not just Aroid Asia, I'm just talking about plant people or plant growers in general. Anybody know? If you know, comment down below and let everybody else know. I'm just kind of gonna try to gently get this off of here. The thing is like, I don't know if roots have grown inside of this. It looks like most of them are growing around the outside of this. Oh no, there's a few going through, and this is like hard to gently break off. So I'm worried I'm gonna like break off some roots. I'm trying to be as careful as possible. Okay, I think I got most of it off. I don't want to go picking too much at it. Some of these roots look dry. Like this long one that's coming out here looks pretty dry, but then some of them are their new thicker roots starting over here. But this one's definitely gonna have to stay in water longer because it needs to develop more roots before I pot it up. So that also might be why he was kind of like, oh, I don't know if I want to send you this one, but that's okay. I can work with this. And the roots that are there look healthy. So we're just gonna, I'll put it in this taller one. Looks a little bit more stable for it. Okay, that just leaves the Anthurium left, and then I'm gonna grab my snips and we're gonna cut up that curtisii and get it into some water. And we'll see if I can salvage it or not. All right, so this is a cross, like I said, of this is a cross of 3 Anthurium. So it's a cross of 2 Anthurium by a third type of Anthurium, and I really love the third type of Anthurium that is a cross-up. So excited to see what this looks like. Ooh, this is exciting. I will say I am happy to not see any pests so far, at least visible to the naked eye. I have had issues in the past with mealies on some of the plants that have come in, so super excited that I'm not seeing that on these. I don't see any of that on this. This is an Anthurium crystallinum by Papalilani. Oh my gosh, I can never say it. Can we just say Pap? There's too many L's in that Anthurium. It's up on screen for me to pronounce. A crystallinum by Pap by Dark Phoenix. And absolutely love the Dark Phoenix. This is a gorgeous plant. Dark Phoenix has very dark leaves. Hopefully you can see how kind of dark that leaf is. Obviously when the light's shining through, it looks a little bit greener, but this should be a gorgeous dark leafed Anthurium, and I love dark leafed Anthurium. It also has very fine veination on it. Doesn't have the super silver veins, but also doesn't look all green. So that's a little bit different than most of the Anthurium I have. So that's exciting. Okay, this one's going to be a little bit harder to get into because I can't tell where the tape ends and begins. Where? I have no clue. Let me try and go in it, at it from this angle. My scissors are not really sharp enough for this, I'm telling you. I need to invest in a better pair of scissors for trying to get through some of this stuff. Let's see if I can just cut around. Okay, that away. It's anybody's guess where tape ends and begins on these orders sometimes. Okay, I think we got it. And this moss feels a good level of damp, so all the moss felt fine. I'm telling you, that curtisii is just a weird situation. Hopefully these roots look good. Usually Anthurium roots look great on orders that I ship from them, regardless of age or maturity level of Anthurium, although I will tell you guys, I have found that the more mature Anthurium that I get from them with the bigger, thicker, super chunky roots have a harder time recovering and acclimating to being potted into soil than plants with smaller, that are less mature like this, with thinner roots like this that I'm about to show you. And these look super healthy because I'm telling you, it's rare for me, and except for some of those orders where the plants were in the box for over 2 weeks, it's rare for the Anthuriums to have a crazy amount of root rot or anything. There is a little dry rot on the ends of some of these, so I'm gonna go grab my snips in a second anyways because I need them for the curtisii, and we will cut that off. But when the roots are nice and thin and healthy like this on an Anthurium, I find they recover really, really well. It's those more established root systems that are like as thick as my pinky that I have problems with. They almost always want to go to rot when I actually pot them up. They do fine with the rehydration process in water. It's just after I pot them up, they throw a fit. So I'm glad this is relatively immature. Let me grab my snips. Okay, so just gonna cut. We do have a dead leaf here, so we're just gonna cut that off. And then hopefully you guys can see right here on the ends of these two, or this root and another one over here, it's just got a little bit of dry rot. So I just want to cut that off, and I want to go higher. Actually, you know what? Honestly, I've gotten to the point where with roots like that, I just cut the whole thing off because this has plenty of healthy roots. I find if I don't go all the way up and just cut the whole thing off, it tends to just keep going bad when it's in the water rehydrating. So yeah, if you've got plenty of other healthy roots, don't worry about cutting the whole one that has any kind of rot on it off. That one I just cut was slightly broken, and that's another thing to look out for, especially on Anthurium, or if any of the roots are broken, you want to cut those off as well. The broken ones you can just cut off above the break. It's just the ones with like some rot or dry rot or anything like that that you want to make sure you remove the whole root. Sometimes some of them you can just pop off with your finger. Okay, I think I got it all off. This is technically 3 plants. One of them now doesn't have hardly any root at all, but that's okay. It didn't have a lot of root to begin with, and it had a break. That was a big break in the middle of the main root. But other than that, I think we're pretty good here. All my containers choices today were just bad because this is the other one I had. And I don't know, this might fall all the way down in there, but maybe not. It might have enough leaves to keep it above water. But I probably will switch it to a different container after this video. Let's see if I can get these leaves pointing upwards. Okay, this one might work. I just need to add a little more water to it, but for now, it will do. Okay, I got 2 more shot glasses of water, which we're going to use for the curtisii. We just need to figure out what's salvageable, I guess is the way to put it. Because these roots just don't look good at all, but we might as well. I mean, there's no like healthy leaf growth on that. All right, here's what we're gonna do. We're going, oh, that's vine's completely broken right there. So we're just gonna cut that one off. Oh, that one's broken too. Maybe this is what the problem is. The vines are just broken. Yeah, because that one's broken too. Okay, we may have just discovered the problem. That one's broken. I think the vines just got broken. But also the roots are kind of dry, so there's that. Yeah, that one's broken. I think all the leaf loss though, because that's a lot of leaf loss for what we're seeing on the roots. So I think maybe this is more, yeah, they're all broken. That's exactly why we have so much leaf death. All right. Well, it makes me feel better about possibly being able to salvage something. All right, I don't have high hopes for this because there are no leaves on it, but since there are roots on it, I'm just, oh, it's broken down there too. All right, I'm just gonna put these rooted parts in one shot glass here. We'll see if anything happens, but like I said, I don't really have high hopes for that. But then I think we can salvage some of these because we do have some green on some of these. So for example, this one still has a slightly green leaf down here. And then also we have some aerial rootage going on the sides. So I'm just gonna pull off the yellow leaves. I'm gonna cut off some of this dead stuff up at the top. Make sure we don't have any moss on there. That looks a little dry, so we'll snip that off. And then this should be able to recover. I realize this is like, once again, just like I mentioned in my last, well, I don't even know if that was the last video you're watching because I'm filming 3 videos today. So I don't know what order you're gonna be seeing these in. But the video where I showed you the Monstera albo node that I've been trying to rescue for over a year, and a lot of you were like, I would have just trashed that thing. I'm sure a lot of you would have just trashed these, but I can make this come back and put together a little 2-inch Hoya for someone, you know? So there is a little aerial rootage on this and a green leaf. So that one's going into the water as well. And then same thing here. I'm just gonna cut off, well, I wanna make a relatively full Hoya for someone, right? So we're gonna cut off the dead stuff. There's like just, the good news is there's a lot of aerial roots going on. So that's technically aerial roots, but look how long they are. So we can definitely salvage this. So we'll just trim off the other part over here. We'll stick that down in the water. That one should definitely recover really quickly, which just leaves us with this one vine. So we'll get the yellow leaves off, leave the green leaf. And I don't think I need to cut anything off. And once again, just look at all those aerial roots right there. So that should be fine. So I feel confident I can turn this into at least a 2-inch little Hoya for someone else, because I already have a curtisii, so I don't necessarily need it. But I know a lot of people who love curtisii and don't have one. So I could like just give this to someone. Okay, so I think that will be good. As always, I will give you updates on all of these plants. If you are interested in importing plants from Aroid Asia, I will say, you guys, when things go wrong, they make it right. Like, especially if it's a paid order. I mean, these were free. They're not gonna like ship me out another curtisii, right? I mean, they don't need to. It's not a problem. But anytime I've had a problem with my orders that I've paid for, they've made it right. If something died, you know, or if everything died, they've sent me replacement orders without any kind of hassle or anything like that. But this new shipping process they're using with Plant Stop USA really has improved things. I mean, this Hoya curtisii situation is just a rare, bizarre situation, but you saw how beautiful all of these other plants looked. I will, once again, keep you updated. I'll give you an import update in probably about a month, let you know how they're all doing. And so yeah, definitely give them a try if you've been thinking about importing plants potentially that you can't get here. Their pricing is pretty decent, plus you can get a discount when you use this code at checkout. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this video today. Definitely comment below and let me know which was your favorite plant. And if you did enjoy this video, be sure to click that like and or subscribe button down below. And I look forward to seeing you again next time. Aloha!